Peter.
Oh, there we go again. Another one.
We have to start keeping count of.
John, it's if you want to go, that's cool. We got four heads. We're good. If you want to skip out,
dude, yeah,
I'm not
so
mad.
much.
It's cool. Get well soon. All right, so let's go to break. Our break music for this break is that brought to you by the Department of Redundancy Department is a remix of Genova from Final Fantasy VII, and it's called Genova Celestial. And we will be right back. So enjoy.
You're listening to Adam Hebert,
a man with breathtaking anger management issues,
on Mic Check Radio.
Specifically.
Unfiltered truth, news, and opinion. Filter Free Radio with Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott.
You can always go back to Rome and Greece, and let's face it, kingdoms. You know, it wasn't until a couple hundred years ago that we realized that, hey, monarchies don't work. Let's think of another kind of system of governance. You know, it's something a little less hierarchical, if you will, or at least concentrated power. Then again, when you're dealing with money, capitalism is about money, and the exchange of money, then concentrated power works really well.
Radio or not, and filterfreeradio.com.
The hell? Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
I can't take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Okay.
Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Gee, I sure hope there's a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
Is this thing on? Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
On what to do about.
Yep, there's no denying it. Come again! I can't help it. I love
Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
About the federal deficit, the federal debt.
Come on. Okay. There we go. We are back for our special overtime thing. Whatever. I'm rapidly losing my will to live. I just can't deal with Romney and his fucking lies much longer.
Welcome to Mic Check After Hours. I'm Wes Carskadden, and tonight I'm going to be making love to you with my voice.
All right, and before we dive back into it, I just want to say I just saw the best thing on Facebook. The best response to Representative Brown, whatever, comes from my good friend Rain Koch of Four Freedoms blog, and she says, I suspect he never got a big bang in his precious life. So let's give her a hand. Oh, that's not the sort of hand I was looking for, but that'll work. Yeah. She's, I'm working on, getting her on. She just has so. All right. Anywho, let's get back into it. Remember, if you want me, unfortunately, John Kendall wasn't feeling well, so he has taken his leave, and we, of course, all wish him well. Now, back to the deep hurting.
And the question, you each have 2 minutes on this, and Governor Romney...
And by two, he means Romney gets 4.
The President went first on segment 1. Yeah. And the question is this, what are the differences between the two of you as to how you would go about tackling the deficit problem in this country?
Well, good. I'm glad you raised that, and it's a critical issue. I think it's not just an economic issue. I think it's a moral issue. I think it's frankly not moral for my generation to keep spending massively more than we take in, knowing those burdens are going to be passed on to the next generation. And they're going to be paying the interest and the principal all their lives. And the amount of debt we're adding at $1 trillion a year is simply not moral.
And that's why I'm giving my children a boatload of money to start with.
There are 3 ways that you can cut a deficit. One, of course, is to raise taxes. Number 2 is to cut spending. And number 3 is to grow the economy. Because if more people work in a growing economy, they're paying taxes, and you can get the job done that way.
Tax cuts
The president would prefer raising taxes. I understand. The problem with raising taxes is that it slows down the rate of growth. And you can never quite get the job done. I want to lower spending and encourage economic growth at the same time. What things would I cut from spending? Well, first of all, I will eliminate all programs by this test if they don't pass it. Is the program so critical it's worth borrowing money from China to pay for it? And if not, I'll get rid of it. Obamacare's on my list. I apologize, Mr. President. I use that term with all respect, by the way. Good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I'll get rid of that. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to stop the subsidy to PBS. I'm going to stop other things. I like PBS. I love Big Bird. I actually like you, too. But I'm not going to keep on spending money on things to borrow money from China to pay for it.
I like you because you're a human doormat,
Number 2, I'll
Jim.
take programs that are currently good programs, but I think could be run more efficiently at the state level and send them to the state. Number 3, I'll make government more efficient. going to cut back the number of employees, combine some agencies and departments. My cutbacks will be done through attrition, by the way. This is the approach we have to take to get America to a balanced budget.
Not so good.
The president said he'd cut the deficit in half. Unfortunately, he doubled it. trillion-dollar deficits.
He wasn't expecting a motherfucking depression.
The president's put in place as much public debt, almost as much debt held by the public as all prior presidents combined.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
When I walked into the Oval Office, I had more than $1 trillion deficit greeting me. And we know where it came from. 2 wars that were paid for on a credit card, 2 tax cuts that were not paid for, and a whole bunch of programs that were not paid for, and then a massive economic crisis.
Wasn't it delightful how President Obama was the only one to mention the wars?
What we've said is, yes, we had to take some initial emergency measures to make sure we didn't slip into a Great Depression. But what we've also said is, let's make sure that we are cutting out those things that are not helping us grow. So 77 government programs, everything from aircrafts that the Air Force had ordered but weren't working very well. 18 government programs for education that were well-intentioned but weren't helping kids learn. We went after medical fraud in Medicare and Medicaid very aggressively, more aggressively than ever before, and have saved tens of billions of dollars, $50 billion of waste taken out of the system. And I worked with Democrats and Republicans to cut $1 trillion out of our discretionary domestic budget. That's the largest cut in the discretionary domestic budget since Dwight Eisenhower. Now, we all know that we've got to do more. And so I put forward a specific $4 trillion deficit reduction plan. It's on a website. You can look at all the numbers, what cuts we make and what revenue we raise. And the way we do it is $2.50 for every cut. We ask for $1 of additional revenue, paid for, as I indicated earlier, by asking those of us who have done very well in this country to contribute a little bit more to reduce the deficit. Governor Romney earlier mentioned
a budget with actual numbers.
Well, that's inconceivable. The commission, bipartisan commission that talked about how we should move forward, suggested we have to do it in a balanced way with some revenue and some spending cuts. And this is a major difference that Governor Romney and I have. Let me just finish this point because you're looking for contrast.
2 minutes.
You know, when Governor Romney stood on a stage with other Republican candidates for the nomination, and he was asked, would you take $10 of spending cuts for just $1 of revenue? And he said no. Now, if you take such an unbalanced approach, then that means you are going to be gutting our investments in schools and education. It means that Governor Romney talked about Medicaid and how we could send it back to the states, but effectively this means a 30% cut in the primary program we help for seniors who are in nursing homes, for kids who are with disabilities.
Mr. President,
and that is not a right strategy for us to move forward.
Way over the 2 minutes.
Sorry.
Governor, what about Simpson Bowls? Will you support Simpson Bowls?
Simpson Bowls, the president should have grabbed that.
No, I mean, do you support Simpson Bowls?
I have my own plan. It's not the same as Simpson Bowls, but in my view, the president should have grabbed it. If he wanted to make some adjustments to it.
Yeah, grandma should have to eat eye sockets and assholes brand cat food.
We're putting it forward before Congress right now, a $4 trillion plan.
But you've been president 4 years. You've been president 4 years. Right. You said you cut the deficit in half. It's now 4 years later. We still have $1 trillion deficits. The CBO says we'll have $1 trillion deficit each of the next 4 years. If you're reelected, we'll get to $1 trillion debt. I mean, you have said before you'd cut the deficit in half. And I love this idea of $4 trillion in cuts. You found $4 trillion of ways to reduce or to get closer to a balanced budget, except we still show $1 trillion deficits every year. That doesn't get the job done. Let me come back and say, why is
obviously
it
then you can't cut your way out of it,
you
dumb fuck.
And actually, you said it back in 2010.
No, I found the best way to pay off debts is to take in less
money. The tax policies that we
have
now, I'm not going to raise taxes on anyone, because when the economy is growing slow like this, when we're in recession, you shouldn't raise taxes on anyone. Well, the economy is still growing slow. As a matter of fact, it's growing much more slowly now than when you made that statement.
Corporate profits are an all-time high.
And so if you believe the same thing, you just don't want to raise taxes on people. And the reality is, it's not just wealthy people. You mentioned Donald Trump. It's not just Donald Trump you're taxing. It's all those businesses that employ 1/4 of the workers in America, these small businesses that are taxed as individuals. You raise taxes and you kill jobs. That's why the National Federation of Independent Businesses said your plan will kill 700,000 jobs. I don't want to kill jobs in this environment. Let me make one more point.
Let's answer the taxes thing for a moment.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Well, we've had this discussion before.
About the idea that in order to reduce the deficit, there has to be revenue in addition to cuts.
There has to be revenue in addition to cuts. Now, Governor Romney has ruled out revenue. He's ruled out revenue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
look, the revenue I get is by more people working, getting higher pay, paying more taxes. That's how we get growth and how we balance the budget. Right. But the idea of taxing people more, putting more people
basically
out of work,
more people in wage slavery, paying working poor taxes will work out for Mitt Romney.
And the working poor paying
42% of their total economy.
And he's laying it out.
We're now spending 42% of our economy on government. I don't want to go down the path to Spain. I want to go down the path of growth that puts
That's
Americans
how
to
many
work
countries
with
has he insulted now?
Working.
But
5, 6.
Fucking
Spain. To get the job done, it's got to be balanced. You've got to have...
If we're serious, we've got to take a balanced, responsible approach. And by the way, this is not just when it comes to individual taxes. Let's talk about corporate taxes. Now, I've identified areas where we can right away make a change that I believe would actually help the economy. The oil industry gets $4 billion a year in corporate welfare. Basically, they get deductions that those small businesses that Governor Romney refers to, they don't get. Now, does anybody think that ExxonMobil needs some extra money when they're making money every time you go to the pump? Why wouldn't we want to eliminate that?
Redistribution.
Why wouldn't we eliminate tax breaks for corporate jets? My attitude is if you got a corporate jet, you can probably afford to pay full freight, not get a special break for it. When it comes to corporate taxes, Governor Romney has said he wants to, in a revenue-neutral way, close loopholes, deductions. He hasn't identified which ones they are, but thereby bring down the corporate rate. Well, I want to do the same thing, but I've actually identified how we can do that. And part
he has an actual plan?
Tax breaks to companies.
Detail. Oh my God.
Right now,
plans are for socialists and ivory tower intellectuals.
For moving a plant overseas.
Yeah, you know, once they start talking more than about 20 seconds, they start spacing out.
And so if we take a balanced approach, what
nice.
that then allows us to do is also to help young people, the way we already have during my administration, make sure that they can afford to go to college. It means that the teacher that I met in Las Vegas, a wonderful young lady, who describes to me, she's got 42 kids in her class. The first 2 weeks, she's got them, some of them sitting on the floor until finally they get reassigned. They're using textbooks that are 10 years old. That is not a recipe for growth. That's not how America was built. And so budgets reflect choices. Ultimately, we're going to have to make some decisions. And if we're asking for no revenue, then that means that we've got to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And the magnitude of the tax cuts that you're talking about, Governor, would end up resulting in severe hardship for people, but more importantly, would not help us grow. As I indicated before, when you talk about shifting Medicaid to states, we're talking about potentially a 30% cut in Medicaid over time. Now, you know, that may not seem like a big deal when it just is paper, numbers on a sheet of paper. But if we're talking about a family who's got an autistic kid and is depending on that Medicaid, that's a big problem. And governors are creative. There's no doubt about it. But they're not creative enough to make up for 30% of revenue on something like Medicaid. What ends up happening is some people end up not getting help.
Jim, let's
the governor.
We've got a lot of topics there, and so it's going to take a minute to go from Medicaid to schools to oil to tax breaks and companies going overseas. So let's go through them one by one. First of all, the Department of Energy has...
Sorry, is there a buzzing in my ear while I keep talking?
$2.8 billion a year.
Oh, Jim Lair.
And it's actually an accounting treatment, as you know, that's been in place for 100 years. Now,
it's time to end it.
And in 1 year, you provided $90 billion in breaks to the green energy world. Now, I like green energy as well, but that's about 50 years worth of what oil and gas receives, and you
well,
say
let's
Exxon
see.
and Mobil,
Oil has
actually,
been
more like
$2.8
two
goes largely to
self-bombers.
small companies, to drilling operators,
Yeah, to
and
what
so forth.
oil
But,
and
you know,
gas
if we get that
receives,
tax rate
those
from
subsidies are
35% down
massive.
to 25%, why that $2.8 billion is on the table. Of course it's on the table. That's probably not going to survive if you get that rate down to 25%. But don't forget, you put $90 billion, like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, to Solyndra and Fisker and Tesla and Enter1. I mean, I had a friend who said you don't just pick the winners and losers, you pick the losers. All right?
Bullshit.
This is not
Three of those
the kind
companies.
of policy you want to have. You want to get America energy secure. The second topic, which is you said you get a deduction for taking a plant overseas. Look, I've been in business for 25 years. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I call bullshit right there. I'm sorry. We're stopping for a minute. I call bullshit there. He knows exactly what Barack Obama's talking about. He knows.
Of course he does.
Of course he knows.
He's insulting the American people. He is saying, American people, I think you all are a bunch of stupid morons.
47% of you, anyway.
So,
well, the problem
I
is
say we're morons, just moochers.
Damn it! All right, we gotta. Okay.
Need to get a new accountant. But the idea that you get a break for shipping jobs overseas is simply not the case.
Yes,
what
it is.
Right now
Then why do they do it?
Money from overseas back to this country. And finally, Medicaid to states. I'm not quite sure where that came in, except this, which is I would like to take the Medicaid dollars that go to states and say to a state, you're going to get what you got last year, plus inflation, plus 1%, and then you're going to manage your care for your poor in the way you think best. And I remember as a governor, when this idea was floated by Tommy Thompson, the governors, Republican and Democrats, said, please let us do that. We can care for our own poor in so much better and more effective a way than having the federal government tell us how to care for our poor. So let's state, one of the magnificent things about this country is the whole idea that states...
He doesn't want to just give it back to the states. He wants to block grant it. A block grant has no requirements for how that money is spent. In other words, if a Republican says, I don't want to fund Medicaid, I'd rather fund high-class hookers and blow for my rich white Republican buddies, that's where that money goes.
Yeah, I mean, think about the people that are running... Oh, let's take a state, say, Arizona. Yeah, let's put more responsibility for how to deal with the poor in the hands of the biggest prison state in the country.
Yeah, those just heartless frickin' fascists.
And let's also remember that states are not doing all that great in terms of, their revenue, and that they have, that most of them have, some kind of state constitutional amendments or whatever, that they're required to have a balanced budget. And, that's kind of a problem, that they can't run deficits.
Whenever Mitt Romney talks about how I balanced the budget and missed, you were constitutionally required to. It's illegal for you to not balance the budget. Anyway, we're going to get a couple. I think we're going to end it, and then we'll just discuss after the next break. So let's get in a couple more minutes.
To the laboratories of democracy. Don't have the federal government tell everybody what kind of training programs they have to have and what kind of Medicaid they have to have. Let states do this. And by the way, if a state gets in trouble, well, we could step in and see if we can find a way to help them. But the right approach is one which relies on the billions of our people and states, not the federal government.
2 seconds, and we're going on still on the economy on another part of it.
Okay.
All right. This is segment 3, the economy. Entitlements. First answer goes to you. 2 minutes, Mr. President. Do you see a major difference between the two of you on Social Security?
I suspect that on Social Security,
Romney
we've got
wants to
a somewhat
kill it.
similar position. Social Security is
he wants to turn it over to Wall
It's going to have to be
Street.
tweaked the way it was by Ronald Reagan and Democratic Speaker Tip O'Neill. But it is the basic structure is sound. But I want to talk about the values behind Social Security and Medicare, and then talk about Medicare because that's the big driver of our deficits right now. My grandmother some of you know, helped to raise me. My grandparents did. My grandfather died a while back. My grandmother died 3 days before I was elected president. And she was fiercely independent. She worked her way up, only had a high school education, started as a secretary, ended up being the vice president of a local bank. And she ended up living alone by choice. And the reason she could be independent was because of Social Security and Medicare. She had worked all her life, put in this money, and understood that there was a basic guarantee, a floor under which she could not go. And that's the perspective I bring when I think about what's called entitlements. The name itself implies some sense of dependency on the part of these folks. These are folks who've worked hard, like my grandmother, and there are millions of people out there who are counting on this. So my approach is to say, how do we strengthen the system over the long term? And in Medicare, what we did was we said, we are going to have to bring down the costs if we're going to deal with our long-term deficits. But to do that, let's look where some of the money is going. $716 billion we were able to save.
What you can't see over the radio is that Barack Obama is right now writing a beautiful, heartfelt love letter to his wife.
We weren't overpaying providers. And using that money, we were actually able to lower prescription drug costs for seniors by an average of $600. And we were also able to make a...
Romney's probably just sketching a picture of himself sitting on the Iron Throne.
Save money
on an Etch-a-Sketch.
So the way for us to deal with Medicare in particular is to lower health care costs. When it comes to Social Security, as I said, you don't need a major structural change in order to make sure that Social Security is there for the future.
We'll follow up on this. First, Governor Romney, you have 2 minutes on Social Security and entitlements.
Bring up the line. Bring up the line. Bring up the line.
Our seniors depend on these programs, and I know anytime we talk about entitlements, people become concerned that something's going to happen that's going to change their life for the worst. And the answer is neither the President nor I are proposing any changes for any current retirees or near retirees, either to Social Security or Medicare.
Count how many times he mentions
60 or around 60 or older, you don't need to listen any further. But for younger people, we need to talk about what changes are going to be occurring. Oh, I just thought about one. And that is, in fact, I was wrong when I said the President isn't proposing any changes for current retirees. In fact, he is on Medicare. On Social Security, he's not. But on Medicare, for current retirees, he's cutting $716 billion from the program. Now he says by not overpaying hospitals and providers, actually just going to them and saying we're going to reduce the rates you get paid across the board. Everybody's going to get a lower rate. That's not just going after places where there's abuse. That's saying we're cutting the rates. Some 15% of hospitals.
All right, we're going to go to break, and then we're going to dissect this. We're not going to be able to finish. We're going to have a better plan for next debate. But we will be back. This is going to be a short break. We're going to be playing a song that's quickly becoming a fan favorite, Dreams, Dreams, from Nights into Dreams. So here we go.
If Shinji is denser than lead, then
Adam Hebert
is off the atomic scale.
Really?
Yup.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
There's nowhere I'd rather be but here with you. The stars above light the way only for you and I. And I'm so glad I found the love that I've been looking for. In my dreams, I'm the one you're hoping for. Love can come through an open door. Just be strong and be sure to find the one. I want to see you standing there in the night. Dream delight, I found someone who really cares. In the night, dream delight, I want to see you smile again. In the night, dream delight, you are the one I've waited for.
Look, I'm up to here with cool, okay? I am so amazingly cool, you could keep a sight of meeting me for a month. Look, I'm up to here with cool, okay? I am so amazingly cool, you could keep a sight of meeting me for a month. I am so hip, I have difficulty seeing over my pelvis.
Smarter than Savage and sexier than Limbaugh. This is Adam Hebert on Mic Check Radio.
Open up my mic, and we are back. We're going to auger this baby in. We're going to do some debate dissection. And then probably commit mass suicide at this point. Wow. So, who wants to go first?
I want to mention that one of my favorite Mitt moments we kind of cut off was that we heard the first time he said this, but like 4 times during the Medicare discussion, he said, "Now this does not affect people currently on. This is not," which basically to me is saying, you're going to be okay, but your kids are going to fucking hate this.
Well, yeah, don't worry, I'm not
those
fucking
damn punk kids off.
Here's the thing. Here's the question President Obama needs to ask in the next domestic policy debate. If your plan is so fucking great, why can't we bring it into effect for all seniors, all people currently on Medicare? What is the problem with your plan that you have to kick the can down the road, reversible mittens? And I want to talk about the $716 billion lie. President Obama was right. Basically, the providers agreed to this reduction, knowing they would get more patients and therefore it would balance out. He also got the balance from Medicare Advantage, which is a private plan that was set up by George W. Bush solely to kill Medicare. The idea was that Medicare Advantage would snag the younger, the healthier seniors from Medicare, leaving Medicare with the ones who need the most money, therefore bankrupting it quickly. That was the point of Medicare Advantage.
God.
I mean, Jesus Christ. And I think a lot of the frustration is like Barack Obama did not go after that one. That is an obvious lie. It's been debunked repeatedly, and he didn't say anything. And I think that's one of the sources of this frustration.
Definitely.
Right. And, they've repeatedly, it's come out, through the media that, that money is going towards saving Medicare. I mean, I believe it was Clinton that said it back in the DNC that amount, whatever it is, 600 million, 700 million,
$716 billion.
that's going to save Medicare, prolong Medicare by like 10 years. almost.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Bill Clinton also mentioned this. Paul Ryan's budget has the same $716 billion taken out of Medicare. Here's the difference. That $716 goes to rich people's tax cuts.
Big difference.
Well, yes, but it's okay if we're keeping rich people rich, because then they can hire the old people for grueling work and then give them bare bones health plans. Problem solved.
And let's get this
job created.
Let's put this lie down to bed right now. Tax cuts do not create jobs. The 50s, 60s, and 70s proved that decisively. We had
and the 90s.
And the 90s, thank you. But I mean, if their theory was correct, then the economy should have been at its worst when we had a 90% tax rate on the highest income earners.
Under Eisenhower.
Screaming liberal
radical,
Eisenhower.
That radical communist, liberal, fascist, Muslim, Kenyan, socialist.
You missed Ninja.
Huh? He was a ninja? I mean, but listening to that debate, it's just like I want to have that Jar Scarborough moment where I just...
Oh, sweet Jesus.
You know, I mean, I get it. Barack Obama was in a lose-lose situation. He could not win no matter what. If he came out swinging, he's the angry black man. If he just sits there, he's the stupid, ignorant black man. Either way, he loses. And again, Mitt Romney was going to win this debate no matter what.
Well,
it was
honestly,
a given.
It was going to be on domestic policy, and let's be honest, that thanks to the Congress, that's kind of his weak point right now.
Yeah, and you blame him for congressional fuckery.
Here's
I'm kind of strange that it's kind of odd that didn't come up at all. The obstructionists.
I know, totally. He didn't even reference it.
Well, because if he does, he's just blaming Congress because he's lazy.
He just let Romney throw that one at him again and again. Well, you weren't able to get anything through Congress. You weren't able to achieve bipartisan consensus. You're arrogant and don't work with Congress. Motherfucker, when I came in, the top Republican in the Senate said their top priority was making sure I'm a one-term president. I mean...
How do you work with that?
Yeah. What do you do? No one has ever said that. Ever. That is the first
what can a man do
has
against
ever
such
been
reckless
that
hate?
Nakedly ambitious. I'm not naive, I know that happens. I know politics is a fucking dirty winner-take-all game, but that nakedly, blatantly, just nihilistic about it is completely unprecedented. And it pisses me off that Obama did not throw that back at him.
And I think he learned his lesson. I think he's going to come out swinging in the next two debates.
I'll be honest, Mitt Romney is such a cipher. I mean, we saw this Mitt Romney, didn't run in the primaries. This is Mitt Romney who will say anything to win. We saw that, and I think Obama knew that, and he knew he had to see what Mitt Romney he would be facing. To get a strategy.
Yeah,
now he knows.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, totally.
A metaphor for what I think Obama's strategy is with that debate is, I wish I could remember the character's name. He's the character from the book The Long Walk, who just keeps stolidly going because he's just being the rabbit to chase. He's he's testing everyone else's abilities. That's what he was doing. He was testing Mitt Romney.
Yeah. I think it got a little out of hand. I'm not going to say that because he didn't put on a good show. He really didn't. Although it does sound better when you're not watching it, I got to say. Having just listened to it, he sounded a lot better. It didn't seem quite as bad. But, he let it get a little out of hand. If this was his strategy.
And part of the blame has to go to Jim Lehrer, who basically let Mitt Romney steal 20 minutes of time from the president. I'm sorry, but the Commission for Presidential Debates should put a stop payment on Jim Lear's check.
Yeah. Because Obama clearly was trying to respect Lear. Obama didn't start doing this thing Romney was doing until later on, like we heard, where he was going overtime and stuff. You know, Obama was clearly trying to respect Lear. Romney obviously didn't care. You know, Romney obviously didn't give a shit about it. And Obama suffered for that. He totally did.
You know, but again, I think this goes to what I've been saying about Mitt Romney. I honestly believe Mitt Romney is a sociopath. The way he can lie and honestly look like, you know, he's being sincere, this behavior where he just disrespects people, his flip-flop bullshit, that's textbook sociopathy.
Yeah, but you also have to factor in his Mormonism also. I mean, he knows he's, you know, obviously, you know, most of us aren't Mormon, so, you know, he can get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, and let's be honest. When Barack Obama wins the next debate, and he will, Mitt Romney's going to be shitting his magic underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Foreign policy is where Obama is going to just
And I'm sure Armin will be pissed when he finds out. He always calls me out whenever I make jokes about, you know, Mormon magic underwear. It's like, so it's okay for you to denigrate our president, call him Barry, or, you know, Barry Soetoro, or whatever those stupid fucking aliases the right-wingers bullshitted out for him. But if I make a joke about magic underwear, which is what, you know, it's not like I'm lying. It's not like I'm lying.
It's not like you're the only one that's coming, you know, insulted him over it. You know, I think they might need to call Bill Maher on that one.
They wear magic underwear, and it's silly.
Dude.
You know,
it's a part of the Mormon Church.
Yeah, just like the Orthodox Jews who won't push a button on the Sabbath. You know, it's silly, and it's silly all around. I saw Armin on your Facebook talking about, like, well, replace magic underwear with, you know, yarmulkes, and it's not funny anymore, is it? And it's like, you know,
it's still kind of funny.
It's still kind of funny, not as funny, because a yarmulke's not as funny as magic underwear, but it's still kind of funny.
Any underwear is fine. You just mentioned
underwear's funny,
underpants. Totally. You just say underpants. It's like Mufasa. You just can't help but, you know, Mufasa, underpants.
Me underwears.
Yeah, to quote the great Frank Reynolds, certain things are inherently funny: poop, farts, and underwear.
You know, I mean, seriously, and you know, just the blatant disrespect. If I were Jim Lear, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not doing another one of these again. He was completely rude and disrespectful.
Yeah.
These Republicans are all the same. George W. Bush was the exact same with Jim Lear in 2004. He was like, "Let me finish," and Jim Lear backed down.
Yeah, it's like, hey, newsflash, you don't gotta let them finish.
You're the moderator. You're not their buddy.
Cut that
here's
mic.
what you do. Here's what you do. You do exactly. You do what Bill O'Reilly would do. Cut the mic. You don't play by
frankly,
the rules.
that goes both ways. You know, Obama's over talking his time. Cut him off.
Yeah,
but Mitt Romney
your time's
stole,
up. You're done. There's a reason we have a format, bitches.
You know, we're talking about.
We're
talking about seconds versus minutes. We're talking about seconds versus minutes. Barack Obama, just in that one segment, got 46 extra seconds. Mitt Romney got 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I think in that particular debate, Obama, I don't hold going overtime against Obama. He had to. Because Romney was doing it every fucking question.
Yeah. He said, oh, this is how we're playing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't lay out the battlefield. But, you know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I mean... And let's be honest, like I said, this debate was basically whose lie is it anyway, where the facts are made up and the truth doesn't matter. I've got to get to Kenny and see if he'll help me make that into a bit. We got to do that. But no, I mean, like I said, I think it was. I mean, I am not denying Barack Obama lost that debate. I'm not saying that. I am saying that it was a combination of Mitt Romney being a dick, Jim Lear being a tool, you know, not doing his job, and Barack Obama basically facing a guy he's never heard of in his life.
Yeah, Mitt Romney did not win that debate cleanly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that's why the polls don't really reflect a huge win. They reflect a minor win.
The polls show he got a bump in the
New York Times. Romney wins on style. Obama wins on facts.
Well, here's the thing.
End of sentence.
Romney got a 1-point bump in the polls after this debate. Among Republicans, he lost among undecideds, which is who he needs to be worrying about now.
And women.
And
women.
So
women thought he came across as aggressive and rude, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Nope.
And like I said, the thing is, but the reason, his gains came from Republicans. And again, if you are worried about your base in October, you're losing the election, most likely. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, because let's face facts. I think a lot of Mitt Romney's debate performance was focused on convincing Republicans he's a dick. Because they would rather, again, it's this conservative mentality. They would rather be strong and wrong than weak and right, which is how they were allowed, which is why they let themselves be beaten by George W. Bush for 8 years.
Yeah. And it's funny, if they had actually listened to what Romney was saying, rather than just be so fond and jerking off over how he was interrupting and everything, they'd have gone, wait a second, this motherfucker is not the one that ran in the primaries. This is not the severely conservative governor of Massachusetts.
And let's be honest, too, that the only thing that the Republicans care about is the fact that he won. They didn't care about what he said.
Yeah, totally.
Right. It was all about making Barack Obama look bad. Oh, we got the President of the United States. Woohoo!
Yeah. We won one. After that horrible September, we fucking won one.
Ooh, pure victory.
Here we are, as a bunch of liberals, navel-gazing and analyzing, trying to figure out where our guy went wrong, not fucking acting, not just going, no, he won, which is how it would be in the reverse. And that's why we're not the same. We're just not.
Well, like I said, we understand. We see the world in shades of gray. We understand nuance. We also understand that strong and wrong doesn't make for good policy.
Yeah, we deal with reality, not what we hope, not what we
Whereas Republicans, I
reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah, they live in
what we call the reality-based community, as they've said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that, again, my prediction is Biden is going to wipe the floor with Ryan. Barack Obama's going to come out swinging. Don't get me wrong, he's not going to come out and be as aggressive as Romney was. But Romney's like, oh, this guy's a pushover. I've got it in the bag. And Barack Obama is going to come out with that one swing right to Mitt Romney's. Yeah. Okay, Mitt Romney is Glass Jaw Joe from Super Punch-Out.
No, Mitt Romney is Bald Bull. Big and tough looking, scary, but with the most easily readable pattern. Just push over once you come.
Yep.
And that's why, like I said, I think losing this debate was actually a good thing in the long run. Yeah, it hurts. We're licking our wounds. We're upset. But better it be now than in the next debate or the last debate, because that last debate is going to be the one people are going to remember.
Yeah, we lost a news cycle. Sack up, liberals. Come on. We lost a news cycle.
One news cycle.
After we just spent a month 6, 7, 8 points ahead, okay?
And we're still ahead. We're still ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, we took a little bit of a setback. It happens.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama, President Obama gained in among undecideds, which is a net plus. Yeah. It's this idea of Barack Obama's playing chess. Mitt Romney comes along, slams his pieces on the board, and says, "King me."
Yeah.
And
well, it's funny because the decisions they present. Of course, Fox News shows a big Romney bump because they're showing among people who are going to vote for Romney anyway, or at least not vote for Obama.
Yeah.
Which is favorable.
Since you said bump, I can't in good conscience make a Rush Limbaugh penis joke without John here. I'm sorry.
Or not without our minister of penis jokes.
But
I wonder if you would accept that title.
But no, I mean, seriously, it was ridiculous. And again, if Jim Lehrer had done his job, I think Barack Obama would have been declared the winner. I really do.
Not impossible.
It would have gone differently, that is for sure. I mean, Romney basically just came out and took whatever contrary position he could. And you know what? Honestly, if your moderator's not doing his job, you can win. Anyone can win a debate that way. I could win a debate by going out there against Barack Obama and going, no, here, okay, the popular thing here. I'm just going to say the popular thing. You know, without any regards for what I've said in the past, or what the consequences will be in the future, or with any respect, you know, showing no respect for the people who got me there in the first place. Anyone can win a debate that way.
Right. Well, let's auger this baby in. First of all, I just want to say, I know I mentioned this earlier, but Wes Kerskaden, you weren't here, so I just want to say that I've been talking to Kenny Pick, and we are on board for election night coverage.
Cool.
We are probably not going to be broadcasting independently. We'll probably be Skyping into whatever Kenny does. But Kenny said we're in.
Okay, awesome.
No details yet, but basically what I'm thinking is we'll stay on with him, you know, or whenever you want to go. I'm not going to make you stay. This isn't a required exercise for you. But what I'll probably do is when Kenny says I'm going to bed, if the election still hasn't been called, I'll switch over to our channel and we'll keep on broadcasting. I'm going to stay up until the election is called. I'm taking the day off classes, so I can afford to be up,
I don't know if I'll work the next day or not, but it'd be a Wednesday, so I don't usually now, but it's hard to say.
I just want to point out, and no news about a Halloween special yet. Kenny said he's doing something, but he didn't say if it was going to be during his normal show or if he's going to broadcast on Halloween night. So we'll keep you posted about that. Other special events, none that I can think of. Although I think that the Office Christmas party is gonna be, you know, pretty savage. It's gonna be like, you know, a savage dorm hootenanny with actual beer. With actual beer.
There's not like actual beer on this show every time.
Well, I'm a teetotaler, but I'm sure... I was actually going to ask how drunk... Before we started the debate again, I was going to ask how drunk everyone was.
Well, I wasn't very drunk yet.
But, so let's auger this baby in. First of all, happy birthday to Nikki Pittman, who has been a guest on the show. Nikki from Alien Adoptables. She's probably a better friend than I deserve, and I am grateful to have had her as a part of my life. I've been lucky to have her friendship and to have her as a part of my extended family. And happy birthday, Nikki. Yeah. So, any thoughts before we shift to the final, our take up the trash stuff?
I wish Mitt Romney would shut the fuck up.
It's gonna be a sweet concession speech.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
You know what the funny thing is that when McCain lost, he was in the Goldwater suite of a hotel.
Nice.
I wonder what the equivalent for Mitt Romney would be. Mondale? Yeah. No, Bush actually won. Or are you talking about HW?
The Waterloo suite.
I like that, the Waterloo suite.
The Custer suite.
The Custer suite. That's good. Okay, so let's get in our plugs so we can wrap this up and auger this baby in. Of course, we have many fine affiliates. Of course, there is the Nicole Sandler Show every Monday through Thursday, 10 to noon Eastern on her channel, Radio or Not. Also on Radio or Not is Filthy Free Radio with Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott, Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays, Radio or Not, Talking Left, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And on Tuesday and Friday nights, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, of course, Big Bro himself, Kenny Pick with Turn Up the Night, and of course the replay on Sunday on WVKO out of Columbus, Ohio, every Sunday, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And Wes, I don't know if I told you this last week, he will be live Sunday, October 21st, and he'll be taking calls. So I would call him. He'll be in. So, yes, please support Big Bro. And, of course, we have some web pages. We also like to promote USA Progressive with Ray Medeiros, usaprogressive.com, Bradblog at bradblog.com, my personal favorite webcomic, By Moon Alone at bymoonalone.com, BYMOONALONE.com, and Avon Abstract, my friend Robert Wood's webpage where he posts his children's horror stories, and that is AEVINABSTRACT.com, Avon Abstract. And, of course, please check them out. Robert is a wonderful writer, and Hi is a wonderful comic artist. So, we're not going to worry about finishing out the hour. Parting shots, anyone? Wes, go. Parting shot.
Okay, Alan West recently talking about the whole fucking, Obama's rigging the job numbers. Alan West referred to the Chicago-style Saul Alinsky tactics of the Democratic Party. This is a attack that Republicans use all the time, and it is fucking bullshit. Okay, Saul Alinsky was a union organizer. Okay, he was an extremely effective one. He was a liberal. He was not dirty. He did not advocate intimidation, terror, any of this shit. He was not corrupt. Saul Alinsky is an American fucking hero, an important part of American American history. A man who fucking taught people like us how to organize and have their opinions shared. One of the first great figures of the media age. And the way the Republicans decry his name while the Tea Party uses his fucking tactics. The Tea Party is the best incarnation of Saul Alinsky's playbook in the country right now. I wish the unions were as effective
That's good
at
job.
employing Saul Alinsky tactics as the Tea Party is. And that's what I gotta say. Saul Alinsky attacks bullshit.
Well, Rob Poole, parting shot, go.
Wow. I wonder just how much the Romney campaign is regretting attacking Big Bird right now. Because, honestly, the only way they could piss off the internet more is if they insulted cats.
Yeah. Against kittens.
That's better.
All right. Wes Karskadin, parting shot, go.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm completely for cancer research. I'm completely for, disease awareness. But I want to go ahead and say the Pink Ribbon campaign has gone too far when Pornhub, the porn streaming website, is offering a charity where they, let me find these details again, for every 30 views of either a small boobs or a large boobs streaming video, they will donate a cent to breast cancer research, the Pink Ribbon campaign. So, for all those women who are special in your life, tonight, knock one out to some titties.
Rub one out. The ladies.
My parting shot is Jim Lehrer should never be allowed to host another vice presidential campaign again. Or campaign debate again. Did I say presidential debate again?
Vice President.
And I want to reiterate the ban on Ann Coulter is a man jokes because what did we learn?
To be a man, you must have honor, and a penis.
Both of which Ann Coulter lacks. There is a permanent ban on any jokes involving Ann Coulter and penises. Ann Coulter's a man. Tranny.
What if it's like about how I'd want to put my penis in Ann Coulter?
Okay, that's fair game. But none of that, she's a man because
To be a man, you must have honor, and a penis.
Anywho, we're going to wrap it up. This has been Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert. We will be back next weekend with the vice presidential debates. Thank you for joining us for this special extended edition. And I want to thank Macaroni, the official rapper of the Stephanie Miller Show, Wes Smith for joining us, John Kendall, get well soon, Rob Poole, thank you very much for suffering with us, and of course, the most badass co-host in Liberal Talk Radio, Wes Karskadin. We are out of here. Have a nice week, everyone. Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Time for go to bed. Aye, it is late. Shall we retire?
Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye to you all. I'll never forget you. Live in peace.
Goodbye, all. Stay happy and good luck.
On our way to great adventures.
Get out of here! Disgusting worm!
Push the button, Frank.
Get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Visitors, thank you for your attendance.
Okay. Oh, was that a chore or what?
As the soundbite goes, this one was a doozy.
Oh my god. Like I said, but anyway, I just want to make sure you knew about that, Wes. As soon as I have details from Kenny, I'll tell you. I mean, like I said, if you can't make it, you can't make it. I'm just trying to keep you in the loop.
Yeah, just keep me up to date, and if I can't make it, I will.
This is
I'm
a
not
big
sure.
opportunity.
All I really know about my election night plans is that there will be drinking, and that's about it.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll just have you be the intern running in the background bringing us results, and then you can sound. I'm sorry.
Hey, you can do that.
I'm sorry?
Hmm?
Rob had something to say and I missed it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'm
I was
sorry.
just being a smart ass.
Better than a dumbass, I say. Anywho, yeah, I'll keep you posted about election night. I'm taking the night off, so I'm not worried. And then the day off, not the night off.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I mean, once the election's over, we're probably not going to have so much hard politics. I mean, there's probably going to be a couple weeks where the Republicans are like, the election was stolen. It's a conspiracy."
Republicans will still be douchebags. We might have to diversify a bit. Yes, but I'm okay with that. I actually had some ideas about that.
You mean we might actually have to cover the entertainment part of my introduction?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy.
It's like
inconceivable.
So, what did you guys think of the box of how that was going?
Pretty smooth. There was a lot less. Oh my god! I didn't mean to push that button.
Yeah, I mean there were still a few little glitches, but it wasn't nearly. It was a lot smoother.
Here's what I did. So I took for every letter, lowercase, I picked out a sound clip that started with that I use the most. So A is absolutely right, B is the buzzer, and so on. And then I put those at the bottom because I don't have to find them, I just hit the button. Whereas I put the rest up top and I just look and say audio tape, there it is.
Are you familiar with audio tape?
And it seemed to work. So
yeah. Seemed to do the job.
Thank you very much, Rob. And what I was talking to someone about this. Oh, Paul, we're probably not going to be able to get the website up until Christmas, if that. My father, I was hoping to get some Christmas money to be able to put towards it, and my dad just lost his job.
Oh, that sucks.
He lost his military contractor job. So, I mean, usually I don't get much from them anyway. It's usually like, I'll usually get something to cover the expense of coming home. But, yeah, they promised him they'd help him find a new job, and they're backtracking on that. And I'm worried he's going to do something stupid like go to Walmart. Because he's got back problems. He was in the Army for 30 years, and his back actually has been out all week long. And I told Mom, you cannot let him go to Walmart. They will kill him. And I'm not exaggerating. They will kill him. So.
Well, sorry, dude. It sucks.
Yeah, nothing I can do about it. You know. Oh wait, I think I forgot to stop the recording.